Happening now, a Jamestown teen was arrested following a stabbing. The details coming up. Plus, Chautauqua County Executive PJ Wendell joins us live to talk about the latest in the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic.
And it's another scorcher out there today with lots of sunshine, but afternoon showers and storms will be popping up, but some relief will be on the way. We'll talk about it next. The News at Noon starts now.
Live and on demand, this is WNY News Now.
And thanks for joining us for WNY News Now as we round out another week. I'm Justin Gould. A 15-year-old was arrested after allegedly stabbing a man following an argument over a video game yesterday afternoon in Jamestown. The incident happened around 3:30 on Bishop Street. Police Captain Robert Samuelson tells us a 25-year-old man was stabbed and taken to UPMC Chautauqua Hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Samuelson says the 15-year-old male suspect is now in police custody. More information is expected to be released as officers continue their investigation. Chautauqua County Clerk Larry Barmore is addressing recent frustration with the new appointment system from members of the community at the Department of Motor Vehicle offices throughout Chautauqua County. Barmore reminds people that the system came from an order by Governor Andrew Cuomo's office. However, the clerk says his staff will make adjustments when they become necessary to improve the system. Barmore says that the appointments were booked rather quickly because there was a backlog of people since March. He urges people to spend time looking at dmv.ny.gov to find everything they need for their appointment to avoid being turned away. And those without internet connection can call the DMV with questions. Now, Barmore says additionally, people who can't get through can contact him several days ahead of their appointment, and he'll get them answers. A new version of the coronavirus has spread from Europe to the United States, that according to a new global study. But the news may not be all bad, as our Mandy Gaither explains.
A new mutation of the coronavirus spreads faster, but doesn't appear to make people more ill, according to an international team of researchers. Their study, published in the journal Cell, says the mutation affects the spike protein, the structure the virus uses to get into the cells it infects, and has almost completely replaced the first version of the virus to spread in Europe and the U.S. The researchers say the new version seems to multiply faster in the upper respiratory tract, the nose, sinuses, and throat, which would explain why it passes around more easily. But tests on 1,000 hospitalized coronavirus patients showed those infected with the new version did not fare any worse than those who caught the original strain. Now the researchers are checking to see if this affects whether the virus can be controlled by a vaccine. Current vaccines being tested mostly target the spike protein. They say more work is needed to see what the changes mean for the pandemic and for patients. For today's Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Mandy, thank you. Researchers say the new mutation can be neutralized by a convalescent serum taken from those who's recovered from a coronavirus infection, but they say it will be important to find out whether the new virus differs in sensitivity to antibiotics in vaccines or antibodies produced in response to infection. Well, representatives of the Chautauqua County area took part in a press conference in Buffalo yesterday calling for change to the criminal justice system. Senator George Borrello, during the conference at the Buffalo Lighthouse Park, slammed the green light law, which allows all New Yorkers age 16 and older to apply for a standard, not for federal purpose, non-commercial driver's license or learner's permit, regardless of their citizenship or lawful status in the United States. Governor Andrew Cuomo made the amendment to the law in his budget, making it a felony for any law enforcement officer to share DMV records with another law enforcement agency in charge of immigration. Borrello says because of the amendment, law enforcement officers are hamstrung in their ability to serve.
This is politics over safety. This is pandering to an extreme radical group for political benefits. It's part of the agenda-driven politics we see in Albany, and it's certainly part of Albany's war on our law enforcement officials at all levels, federal all the way down to local officials. So this cannot be tolerated. The people of New York State, the American people, have to say you have to set aside politics, set aside this divisive, agenda-driven agenda that ultimately is going to lead to us being less safe here in New York.
Congressman Tom Reed, State Assemblyman Andy Goodell, and New York State Republican leader Rob Ortt also participated in that conference. Officials in Chautauqua County will be holding a COVID-19 press conference update this afternoon following an increase in COVID-19 cases and those quarantined this week. Yesterday, Chautauqua County health officials announced only one new case of COVID-19, a teen girl, with an additional 42 people now under quarantine or isolation orders by the public health director. County Executive P.J. Wendell will be joined by Sheriff Jim Quattrone and County Physician Dr. Robert Burke during the 3 p.m. update at the Gerasi office building in Mayville. Viewers can watch the press conference streamed live on WNY News Now's 24-hour streaming network, WNYNewsNow.com/live, our mobile app, or right here on Facebook. Well, we hope everybody is having a good day, and we thank you so much for joining us here for WNY News Now as we close out a pretty steamy week. Got to say hello to Brianne. Good to see you. Good to see Wendy, as always. Kate, Joseph, Sean, Lucas, Wallace, Joanna says, Friday, happy Friday to you. Good to have you here. Good to see Donna, Gladys, and Wallace as well. Hopefully everybody is staying cool out there. Let's now get a check of our First Defense weather forecast with Chief Forecaster Dakota Hunter. And Mr. Hunter, this week has certainly been feeling like summer.
I mean, this week has been feeling more than like summer. It's been feeling like, we kind of swap places with Florida or something. I mean, it's been very hot and humid, but hey, how about the rain last night? This was beneficial rain that we needed. Look at the Jamestown Airport, 0.78 inches, Lakewood 0.75, Clymer 0.37, Fredonia just a little about, just about a quarter of an inch there, Cassadaga 1/100 of an inch, and Dunkirk at 7/100 of an inch. But this was well needed rain. We needed that. That all came after midnight tonight, or should I say last night. That was well needed rain. We needed that, but we need a lot more. Live look downtown shows you just sunny skies, 82 as of noon hour. The dew point, 67. So again, with the dew point still a factor, we're still going to have a heat index today, but it's not going to be as extreme as it was yesterday. But, it's still going to be out there. 82 again here in town, 84 in Mayville, 85 in Fredonia, 84 Dunkirk. Look at the Lake Erie water temp. 76 degrees. That is a new record for this date. Lake Erie is bath water. Go and grab your soap. Now, when you add in the humidity, this is what it feels like. 84 here in town, 88 in Fredonia, 92 in Dunkirk, 94 over in Erie. So it's feeling a lot hotter today, but it's not going to be as bad as it was yesterday. Yesterday was the peak. Today's past peak, and then we're going to start cooling off behind that. Basically, 85 to 93 today, another scorcher, lots of sun with afternoon storms. And again, the heat index for you will likely peak once again, possibly around the upper 80s to lower 90s, but then a much more refreshing air mass comes our way for the weekend. But then heat wave part ducks comes our way next week. We'll tell you the details in a few. Justin?
All right, Dakota, thank you very much. Officials with the Chautauqua Mall are now working on a plan to reopen following the COVID shutdown. Sharon Bennett, she's the area marketing director with Washington Prime Group, who operates the mall. She tells us they're working on a plan to keep shoppers safe. She did decline our interview request, citing she didn't have enough information on hand to talk about the reopening process. Now, if you remember on Wednesday, New York Governor Andrew Cuomo announced that malls could reopen on Friday as long as they have a special type of air filter installed. Experts say the fine media of the filters helps capture particles down to 300 nanometers or 0.3 microns. Now, these filters can help capture 95% of the particles in the air. They say the order from the governor requiring high-efficiency filters in malls has to do with the amount of people that spend time in there. Of course, people still need to wear a mask and try to stay 6 feet apart from one another. Well, the Lakewood Walmart is taking additional steps to improve customer and employee safety. In a post on social media, the Walmart location announced only the grocery department doors will now be open, creating a single entrance and exit point to the superstore. Additionally, the store is also stepping up its mask-wearing policies. This week, the Retail Industrial Leaders Association sent a letter to the National Governors Association asking for help with enforcing mask mandates. The group says retailers are alarmed with the instances of hostility and violence frontline workers are experiencing by a vocal minority of customers who are under the misguided impression that wearing a mask is a violation of their civil liberties. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention recommends the use of facial coverings such as masks when it's difficult to maintain a distance from other people, although there is no federal order requiring people to do so. New York State, however, has a mandatory mask order for residents that are unable to maintain 6 feet of distance. Coming up next, how Americans are shrinking their credit card debt. But first, Chautauqua County Executive P.J. Wendell, you see there, joins us live to talk about how COVID-19 is still affecting Chautauqua County. Stay with us as WNY News Now continues.
With coverage that matters, this is WNY News Now.
EagleZip.com is your local one-stop shop for all of your home and business computer needs. Located on Fluvan Avenue Extension, just outside of Jamestown, EagleZip.com sells and services all brands of desktops and laptops, as well as servers and network equipment for your business. All new computer sales include transferring your data from your old computer, plus a 2-year warranty. Call EagleZip.com today.
Stop by EagleZip.com today and let us make computers easy for you. When you're on the go, stay in the know by downloading the WNY News Now mobile app. Stay up to date on local news, weather, and sports that matter to you. Plus, subscribe to breaking news and weather alerts from the team that puts coverage first. In addition, watch news as it happens with the Southern Tier's only 24/7 streaming network. Download the WNY News Now app right now. It's free on the Apple App Store and Google Play Store.
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
And welcome back to WNY News Now. This week, we saw an increase in the number of those quarantined because of COVID-19. Joining us to talk more about what is happening in Chautauqua County is Executive P.J. Wendell. Sir, it's great to have you back on the program. Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Justin.
First, I want to ask, we did see a day earlier this week where more than 90 people were entered into that quarantine protocol. Why do you think we are seeing such a big jump?
Well, one of the things we're seeing is that people are active and moving around more. So the jump in quarantine or isolation cases, those would be cases that are direct contacts or close contact of a known positive. So, as individuals are moving around more, we have seen more contact, and the numbers are a lot higher. As of yesterday, we had a total of 301 individuals under quarantine or isolation orders by the public health director. When we look at those numbers, the spike we saw on Tuesday, those were all prior to the 4th of July weekend, tests that were given or taken prior to the holiday. So, we have seen an increase in those. The numbers in contact tracing are from the contacts. So again, it's reminding everybody we need to continue to be vigilant. One of the positions that I have taken in the support from the Assemblyman and our senator was asking Governor Cuomo for more phases. That does not mean we are going backwards by adding more phases. What it does, as we've talked about in our control room, is a phrase, expectation management. And that's what we're looking to do, is remind people that we continue to wear our masks and we continue to follow our social distancing protocols, because this disease is still here. The bright spot with this, if you look at it that way, is we do not have any hospitalizations. Now, those numbers lag about 2 days. So as of the 7th of July, we still have had nobody in a hospital or ICU with a diagnosis of COVID-19. So those numbers are very relevant when we look at the impact this is having on our healthcare system, which is something that was a concern from the very early stages. So the cases are up. We are managing the contact tracing. We are getting on top of this, and we are staying ahead of this, and we'll continue to do so as we have from the very beginning.
Now, specifically for calling for those new phases, what would you like them to look like? Have you discussed that with state leaders?
Yes, we have, and we've at length in our control room, and we're looking at where will nursing homes fit in. What we're finding out is not only is it the nursing home patients, the residents of the nursing home that need that care from their people from the outside. We had a case where an individual called us and was very disappointed, had not seen her husband since the 15th of March, and he did pass away during that time, and it was very heartbreaking to hear her story. So it's not only the residents that need the love and affection of people, but it's also those on the outside who may have terminal illnesses or diseases, not able to see their relatives that are, in a nursing home at the time. I've asked for special consideration, especially with hospice care patients. We know that is a unique sector of people that are in nursing homes or convalescent care. So, can we look at that? And I'm sure if individuals are given the ability to hold or touch a loved one, even if it is through gloves, a gown, a face shield, and a mask, they will do so to make sure that those loved ones know that they're cared for. But the other phases, when I asked, we had nothing on the radar about shopping malls. As you know, shopping malls will open today as long as they meet the requirements from the new filtration systems. I have been in contact with them all. They are moving forward and getting up to speed on these new requirements from the state. I'm also looking at, movie theaters, fitness centers, and gyms. Those are two big priority items that whether it's the YMCAs or YWCAs we have here in Westfield, or, local fitness centers that have indoor facilities that are not able to get outdoors. We need to get them on board. And again, with that same premise of expectation management, what do they look forward to? Is it 2 weeks? Is it 3 weeks? Those types of things need to be understood. It helps everybody get through this. And also for those who've said, hey, we're in phase 4. What do I need to do this for? We're done. Aren't we out of the woods? No, we're not. We're still in those restrictive concerns when it comes to wearing masks and social distancing. So my premise was, do we look at the new phases to have a 3-week window? Obviously, broader businesses now, we're looking at schools in early November, nursing homes, movie theaters, gyms and fitness centers. Things such as bowling alleys are not able to open yet. So there's a lot of industry and businesses and people that generate revenue for our county that are not open, and we need to give them that expectation management as we move forward. So it's still in consideration. Governor Hochul's been very she's been very appreciative, very supportive, as well as John Majori. He informs me that it's still being considered. So, my belief is we're going to move forward with this and hopefully give others that expectation of when they can open safely and responsibly.
And on that point of schools, we've gotten so many people reaching out to us saying, what's going to happen with schools? Yes, summer vacation is on now, but September's not that far away. What type of plans are being discussed between school districts in the county regarding the reopening process?
Well, listening to everyone, of course, as you know, 25 years prior to coming here has been in the school system. And, that's a big plan when you're looking at individuals from, 4 years old all the way up to, teenagers, 18 and 19 that are seniors. That's a wide diversity of people. You have special needs students. You have, again, so many people that you need to consider and take into consideration, not to mention our staff. Our teachers did, potentially have those comorbidities that need to be concerned. So I'm hearing a lot of different things. The school districts are looking at a wide array of opportunity or plans. I read in the paper, Mr. Penhallow from Faulkner stating, do we bring it back at 25%, 50%, 75%? The governor still doesn't have those ideas concrete, but he's asking for the school districts themselves to provide those plans. The other exciting news that came out of that is the governor potentially could look at a regional opening. So where one region may still be closed, where others may be open. Again, poses a problem, as we know, with our New York State regents and the Common Core, is how do we get everybody on board for those standardized tests that are given. But to that respect, I believe that it's also inherent that, we look at the individual areas, the regions, and how they would be able to open healthily and safely as we move forward.
And to that point that you made, you have a lot of experience yourself in education. Do you feel that if a region wasn't quite ready to open up schools in person, whether it be in a modified capacity or not, that education would continue just online? I know the governor has talked about how in some districts it's worked well, in some districts it hasn't worked well. but either way, the process needs to continue.
Correct. The education component needs to continue. There's no doubt about that. Education, online learning is not for everybody. Some people do very well with it, others don't. There's others that need that social component. They need that interaction with the teacher. So that's challenging. And honestly, being a teacher in a classroom, they're able to walk around and monitor students if they're working on a problem, or the student can come up and ask them. In a Zoom meeting, it's very challenging for a student to be able to engage or walk up and get that time. And a teacher isn't going to say, okay, we're going into a Zoom meeting and you now have 40 minutes and we'll let you get working on the homework. If you have any questions, come see me. Really not applicable on a Zoom meeting. Sure, it could be done, but those types of things pose a challenge as to the in-person ability for teachers to interact with their students. And not to mention the offline time. Many of us, as you know, Justin, after school and going in with a teacher or a small group, that you may all have the same questions, the same idea of how we're going to get to the answer, but that you may need the teacher's help in getting that answer. So again, education is different for everybody, and that's definitely not a cookie cutter process. So it's challenging to say that yes, every student will be beneficial with online learning. It really is as diverse as the districts, as diverse as the individuals themselves.
Yeah, and a lot of times too, as you mentioned, that sense of community is something that is more valuable than even the knowledge that comes out of these districts. Speaking of Falconer School, teacher Rich Bianco announced yesterday that his annual Exponential Stars baseball game is a go for later on this month. That following a series of discussions with local officials. Now, as a former educator yourself, what kind of impact will having something like this, especially during these difficult times, have on the community?
I think, it's challenging. I haven't heard the details to that and to what extent, but I can tell you that speaking with the mayors and supervisors, those that are in, the positions of I don't want to say power, but the positions to make those decisions, are doing so wisely and very cautiously as they move forward. Some of these students, the exceptional athletes may have underlying comorbidities that need to be taken into consideration. So I understand that if this is a go, it would have been taken into consideration, all of those things to keep everybody safe. But really, if you've ever been to that game, it's a phenomenal interaction with people, and those kids just love getting out and engaging in that game. So hats off to Rich. He's done a phenomenal job with that game. And, people are, going to be leery of being in public. But people have to remember, if those events go on, we're not mandating people to go there. If you feel safe and you feel if it's safe enough for you to attend by proper social distancing, always wearing your masks, even when you're outdoors, those are the right things to do. And I think we need to give opportunity for those individuals as well, because, we need that interaction. And, special education students are really a highlight of our communities in the educational system. The kids they're engaging more and more, and it's just a great group of kids, and it's good for everybody. Just that camaraderie of athletics is great. But I know those leaders in those areas will do so with caution and safety in the forefront.
Certainly, and I know that at the county, you've, since the beginning of this, have really stressed common sense, and that's something that you want the community to take away. Finally here today, that message of common sense, how has it been to try to send that off to everybody in Chautauqua County and even beyond? Because there are people who come here to work who live outside, whether you live in PA or in Cattaraugus or in Buffalo or wherever it is. How has the effort to educate everybody, and what responses have you gotten so far?
Well, the responses are as different as everybody who lives here. Some people are very supportive. Some people say we've given a great message and we will continue to do that. Some people have questioned it and saying, we need to do more. We need to get out the information and educate people. And the information we give, and the reason again for today's press conference, is reminding people, re-educating, maybe not if that's really the best term to use, but reminding people that we're still needing to wear masks and socially distance, and we're not out of the woods. Everybody has common sense. We all know that. And that's really what we're asking you to do, is think, before you react, think before you do something. We all get that. This morning I got out of my car and walked to the door of the dry cleaner, realized my mask wasn't on. So I went back and put my mask on. And those types of things we understand are getting to be, a natural. We've all done it. You've gotten there and people are very quick to comply. there are some that are going to, have their reasons for not wearing it, whether it's medical or, whether they feel they're being violated with civil liberties. And everyone is entitled to that. We're not, we're not questioning those ideas or those values. But what we are telling everybody is what you are doing is helping everyone, helping you, it's helping your neighbors, it's helping people around you. And that's really what's key and important to this. We have done a great job as a community, as a county, working together through this. We have been united in our effort. We have been united in our message. Yes, people are going to be concerned. People may not be happy with things. But as we look at the prevalence and the low prevalence we've had here in Chautauqua County, it's a testament to everybody doing the right thing, or a vast majority, or 90 to 95%. But we are doing the right thing here in this county, and people are listening. And our message is very clear. It's very simple. We need to be vigilant. We need to wear our masks. And going back, our committee, brought the mask concept, and it was a day or two before the governor came about. We looked at this as a response team and said, hey, the masks, I think, are a good idea. There's no data that we've had at that point. This was, early on, and we said, okay, we're going to start promoting, encouraging the masks. And lo and behold, within a day or two, that was more of a statewide residence. So again, people need to realize, the hardest thing is we're not out of the woods. And that's why, I've been pushing more for the extended phases to keep people, to keep it in the back of their mind that we are still, on, on a level of concern, a level of watchfulness, if you would say. And we need to be aware of what's going on. One of the things we just started here, we talked to our buildings and grounds people, and we've also added changing the filters here in our campuses to the new MERV 13 filters. And we're going to get that started as we bring our employees back. So, the county is stepping up and doing our efforts to, make sure that those who come to the county office buildings are safe. We started the process. It may take a couple of days, to implement everything. But, as we open again, starting as early as this Monday, we do have safety barriers up. We do have precautions in place. We do have screening methods. So, we are just doing this in a very common sense, very consistent message as you come into our county office buildings. And everyone's been doing that. Having said that, Justin, we talked about Walmart's. Walmart's made a landmark decision in, changing their protocols for this COVID case, especially here in New York State. So we met with Lakewood Walmart this morning. We're meeting with the Fredonia Walmart this afternoon. Sheriff Quattrone, myself, and members of the Department of Health, and really applaud them for what they've done. And, of course, there's a lot of concerns. We got a lot of pause complaints. That's what started the setup of the meetings. And now we did see, there was some posts on the internet that, Walmart wouldn't let me in because I didn't have my mask. Well, okay, they're doing their diligence. They do have third-party security monitoring our masks. So the concerns that people have had, Walmart has stepped up and answered those concerns and are doing things in a very responsible manner. So, we're going to continue to do that. We dropped off some masks to Walmart, which we've done to other resident businesses in the area. So we'll be working to collaborate with everybody to help get through this. And, we still need to keep our guard up and still be vigilant.
Yeah, certainly. And as mentioned, later today, you and other county officials are holding a press conference update at 3 o'clock. We remind our viewers they can watch that live right here on WNY News Now. Chautauqua County Executive P.J. Wendell, thank you for joining us today. We appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me, Justin.
Now let's get a check of our weather with Dakota.
Hot day yesterday. Take a look at these high temperatures across the region. 88 here in town, 92 in Dunkirk, 92 over in Erie. How about Buffalo at 98 degrees? That is the second highest, all-time highest temperature ever, basically ever observed in the city of Buffalo. The highest temperature is 99. They've never officially hit 100 degrees in the city of Buffalo. So because it was 88 degrees yesterday, that is the hottest day we have had in several years. The last time we had a day this warm was back in 2013, where the high on July 18th was also 88 degrees. And this week, this whole stretch of weather is the longest stretch of weather, the hottest stretch of weather we've had since that same July 14th through July 19th of 2013. So it was hot. We've got another heat wave coming likely next week, but this is probably the bad news out of the whole thing. As we told you, this was expected. On the current drought monitor, we are now under this abnormally dry condition across all of western New York and much of northwestern Pennsylvania. That's all this yellow color here. And again, that basically just means we're basically like a moderate drought, basically meaning that the ground is dry. We haven't had much rain. Now, given the rain that we had yesterday, we did knock a little bit on the rainfall deficit, but we're still running over 2.5 inches below normal rainfall to where we should be this time of the year. Our best hope is going to be this. This is a cold front back here, back to the west, that's currently back over Michigan. This is going to be moving our way tonight, and then tomorrow, that'll produce some widespread showers and storms through the day tomorrow. That will likely be our best chance of maybe at least 1/4 of an inch, upwards of a 1/2 inch worth of rainfall. New tropical storm here. It is Tropical Storm Faye, our 6th named tropical storm already this season. And this is just off the Atlantic coast, just south of Philly. Now, this is going to move up into New York City. Now, there was some early thoughts that we might get some rain from this. It's too far east, and the track of this is basically due north. So our rain over the weekend is not going to be associated with Faye, unfortunately, because we could use, obviously, some of that tropical rain. Future scan shows you the pop-up showers and storms once again today. I think better coverage of the storms than what we had yesterday. Obviously, what's being depicted here. So those will continue through the night tonight. Tomorrow will likely start dry in the morning. Then showers and thunderstorms will come our way with the cold front passage. So again, expect those to continue through the afternoon tomorrow. And then as we head into Sunday, showers and storms will continue on Sunday, but it also turns cooler and less humid, something we all need. Zone forecast, the inland areas today. Where are we pegging out here? Likely, once again, another mid to upper 80s day, maybe some lower 90s, especially in northwestern Pennsylvania. Afternoon showers and storms. You want your future? Here it comes. It's in high definition. And 80 degrees tomorrow, 79 on Sunday. Cooler, less humid. And here we go as we go into next week. Another heat wave comes our way by the end of next week, with temperatures likely in the upper 80s. Justin?
All right, Dakota, thank you very much. We leave you with this. Jamestown Police Chief Harry Snellings was honored this week for his many years of service to the community. New York State Senator George Borrello joined Assemblyman Andy Goodell and Congressman Tom Reed to present certificates of recognition to Snellings, with the congressional certificate being entered into official record. The chief announced his retirement back in June, and we wish him well and say a big thank you for your years of service here in Jamestown. That's going to do it for us today. Of course, news continues 24/7 at WNYNewsNow.com. We're back on Monday. Have a great weekend.